Dear brothers and sisters, how about this lecture connecting to the topic? Yeah, it's all about motivation. How about that to give us motivation to keep going? To know that that's always somebody looking at us. This Monday I had the pleasure as well to do the opening, and the lecture that came was talking about if people criticize you, what should you do? Well, the lecture said if people criticize you, it's because they are looking at you. It's because they are paying attention at you. Maybe they are jealous, maybe they are envy, that's because you exist. There's nothing better in life than know that you exist as a being. So, our talk today is going to be about the power of never giving up. Never giving up being a human, never giving up being somebody that can inspire somebody else, never giving up understanding that we can go 1, 2, 3 steps higher than when we incarnate here, because that's the reason why we're here. And while we climb in those steps, we can bring people with us by motivating them. So what is the real motivation? What is motivation? First of all, is to turn this on, otherwise it's not going to work. This is not the regular division of the word, but this is the way that I see. Motivation for me is the motive for action, or the reason for action. So if you get the reason, and the reason takes you to do something, that you have your motivation. That's always something that causes a feeling that makes you go ahead. What would be human beings without fear or without pain? People say that we spiritists are, masochists. I never saw any of us kneeling on the sand or on the gravel and, hurting themselves, say, mea culpa. That's not it. But think about it. If you don't feel a little bit of pain, you're never going to move from the place that you are to someplace else. Because if we are comfortable in a place that we are, in the way that we are, we don't move. That is the saying about the neighbor's dog, that the kid wake up in the morning and say, Sir, your dog is sick. You need to take him to the vet. And the gentleman say, no, he's not sick. What you talking about? Well, he's been crying all night long. Oh, he's crying because he's kneeling. He's laying down in a needle bed. And the kid's like, what? And why doesn't he stand up? And then he said, because the pain is not strong enough. Most of the time, that's what we do. We lay on a needle, on a bed made of needles, and if the needle doesn't go deeper in our flesh and we don't feel pain, we keep lying down right there. That's the thing. So, unfortunately, one of the biggest motivations in life, it's pain. But we can do a way better than that. So the study today is just to make us focus in something else than just pain to keep us going. Motivation is an inner force that constantly changes through life, directs and enhances the goals of individual. What has been our motivation through the evolutionary trajectory, encouraged by the conquest of happiness and threatened by the unfortunate consequences of our choice? Well, most of us know here that this planet is not the happiest planet on Earth. Although we are in Orlando, we have the happiest place on Earth, right here, as so they say. But, well, we are here because we are not the kindest, we are not the most correct spirits in the march of the evolution. We did something, we need to fix it. So, what is the motivation for us that incarnate in a planet that is about to change the polarity. It's about to get more positive than it is. Although it's not going to be perfect, what is the motivation? Probably, if you think about it, is that, well, if I want to reincarnate in this planet when the polarity changes, I need to be more positive. I had to be more evolute in terms of feelings. I have to give up feelings of anger, rage, sadness, and so forth and so on. How can we do that? By understanding motivation, by understanding what makes us going, by understanding that that's a bigger power that can really make us better or to do better instead of just feeling pain and say, yeah, I need to get out of this situation. Both reactions can lead us to progress, but the motivation of both is quite different. Sometimes we are encouraged by the happiness of, oh, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be a better spirit. I'm going to be a better father, mother, husband, cousin, whatever. And sometimes we are like, oh yeah, I don't want to be considered a bad person. So I'm going to do something to better myself. Both ways will lead us to do something. But why choose the second one if we can choose the first? Neurologically speaking, our brain is wired to pay attention to negative events first. Reason why? We came from the Neanderthals, we came from the cavemen. And those guys, when they got out of the homes, they looked for the dinosaur. Otherwise, they're going to be eaten alive. Otherwise, the incarnation is like, hi, bye. Doesn't work. So, our brain is wired to find traces, to find signs of danger first. And then, there is this little intensity of good things happening. Have you ever find yourself getting tapped on your shoulder because of a good job, and 10 minutes, hour later, somebody criticizes you, and all you can remember is the person that criticized you instead of the one that said good job to you? That's it. So by understanding that we wire differently, let's find a way to value more the good things in life than just the ones that happen as are totally negative. That is a motivation itself. Focusing positive things. If you focus on something else disappears. I'm not going to do that again. I did so many times with this in the center and in some speeches that I gave outside here. But focus is amazing. Like, if I ask you to look at something in a white color and I ask you to tell me something in a brown color, you're probably not going to tell because your focus was on white. So when you focus on white, brown disappears. When you focus on happiness, sadness goes away. It's the same. Our brain is not capable to absorb everything. So what you focus is what you live. Your perception dictates your life. Your motivation, it's a product of your perception. So normally, we don't have too many questions in life, right? Just those. Not too many. But Spiritism come and answer most of that, which is amazing. Because by rationalizing the answers, you can get a lot more understanding, and a convincing understanding. It's not, it is because it is. It's the way it is. So, motivation is directly related to our beliefs, whether they are real or not. How you create a belief? Neuroscientists, coaches, psychologists, psychiatrists, say that a belief is something that starts with an assumption or a routine. If you do something for a long time, you create a habit. If you keep going with your habit for a long time, you create a belief. So a continuous habit creates a belief. And once you got that engraved in your brain, engraved in your heart, it's hard to take it away. It's hard to scratch it off. But let's count how many beliefs do we have that doesn't work for anything, doesn't serve us from anything. Like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it. Why? Why? If you rationalize that, why you don't deserve it, why you're not good enough? Because maybe in the past, when you were playing soccer or football, and you broke your neighbor's window, and your dad took you by the arm, say, now I'm going to teach you a lesson, you're going to talk to him. When he got to the door, he got like, okay. He saw the face of the neighbor. The guy was angry. So he tried to minimize the thing by saying, well, forget about it. You know, my kid, he's not very good in that sport. As a matter of fact, he has 2 left hands. Sorry about the lefties, nothing against that, but just a figure of speech. And then all your little brain heard is that he's not good at that. And all of a sudden, without even thinking, you assume that for yourself. And every time you run around a soccer field, a football field, your knees start shaking. And you don't know why. Because you create a belief out of nothing, because you didn't filter. You just understood that that was true because Daddy was telling that. Daddy was saying that, and he knows better. And you never, ever, ever question. How many things in our life we didn't question, and right now they are beliefs. We strongly believe in that. We can change that just by understanding that our brain believes in everything that we feed it. It doesn't matter if they're real or not. So let's start feeding our brain with real things, with things that are based in science, with things that are based in rationality. The incarnate life is given to you to debug your imperfection by passing through tests and using your free will at its best. Free will is a great tool, but as it's free, sometimes we take it for granted. Sometimes we don't understand the concept. Sometimes we say, yes, I can do whatever I want. I'm free to do it. Nobody controls my thoughts. We have 60,000, by the way, thoughts a day. So, you want another great number? 8% of the 60,000 are thoughts that can make something good or bad to us. Because the rest, it's about something that happened in the past, something that will happen in the future, and something that is just assumptions, don't exist. And we spend a lot of energy and a lot of time thinking about that. Another challenge for your motivation. Try to raise this 8% to 10, 2% above. And you see how can you change your day-to-day things that happen in your life just because you are aware that, I'm not going to think about this, I'm going to think about that. Change. We always can change. Praise, encouragement, and recognition affect much more than money in order to a human being feel valued and motivated. Sometimes, especially in companies, we think that a raise in a salary is something that's going to be like go an extra mile. Again, as we got used to get the extra money, we take it for granted. But to treat somebody right, to encourage somebody to get better, to encourage somebody when you know that this person's not well, that goes the extra mile. That is motivation. I don't know if you guys know he was a great speaker, but he was always a pastor. His name is Zig Ziglar, or was, because he's discarnated. Zig used to say something that I use every time. He used to say, well, people come to me and say, Zig, you talk a lot about motivation, but it doesn't last. And he always replied, well, baiting doesn't last as well. That's why we take it once a day. And guess what? As we're in Florida, let's take it twice. And if you're down in Miami, take it 3 times a day. So let's use this as an example for motivation. Let's do it once, twice, 3 times a day. Every time you can, motivate somebody. Go and, just show your great side. Just show how good you can be, how good you can motivate people to get better, to do better. In the end, as we are made of energy, as we are a fabric, or as we are an industry of atoms, everything that we give to somebody in terms of energy comes back to you and polarize you. So giving positive energy returns positive energy, and boom. And we used to say, oh, I'm so drained. I feel so drained today. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Just try once to pay a compliment to somebody that is more drained than you, or that's like, you can see when people are happy or not. So just choose one, pay a compliment. Or if she or he did something pretty good, clap. And you see your energy change right off the bat, right in front of you. It's not a miracle, it's just energy. Again, that's the beauty of Spiritism, because we analyze everything through science, and we analyze energy as well. Positive energy generates positive energy. This is fantastic, but we tend to forget that. What about this last sentence of Our Father? And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. Do you really mean when you say that, or you just say it by heart? Because it's something that you learned a long time ago, and now there's just something that you recite instead of really putting meaning. Lead us not into temptation. Who lead us not? Father? Yes. But in order to get help from God, we need to listen. We need to have a minute to listen. We have to have a single prayer to listen, to understand. We can use the tools that we have in our hands, but once again, our wired brain takes it for granted. You are in a position that you don't know what to do. One single prayer will go the extra mile, will do miracles. That is your motivation, because most of us are just seeing to believe. So every time I come here, I tell you, I'm going to keep telling, don't believe in a single word that I'm saying. Do it. Try yourself. I can be the biggest liar of all up here saying something. Don't believe in me. Try yourself. Try to motivate somebody. Try to pay a compliment to somebody. Try to clap to somebody when you're feeling drained. Try to pray when you feel lost. Pray is not just when you get into the church or to the center, or when you feel that your life is falling down. Pray it's a tool, if you know how to use it. It's to elevate the level of energy of your being, to keep going. We don't understand that fully, but we can use it, and we must use it. The 3 beliefs that people need to be motivated effectively are confidence, trust, and satisfaction. This is in a spirit called Hamed, that was a psychologist in his last incarnation. So what he tells us is this. Confidence is like, I can do it. People must believe their efforts will lead to the necessary result. Because most of the time, we don't have this confidence within us. If you see somebody struggling with that, reinforce it. Motivate it. You can do it. I believe in you. You should believe in yourself as well. Try it. What can go wrong? Every time I had a question to somebody and I was around my dad, he used to say, well, guess what? The no answer you already have. All you can get different is a yes. So why not ask? If it's something that is not unpolite, offensive, or why not? We are struggling because we don't try. And we don't try because we don't have confidence in ourselves. So if you see somebody struggling, boost their confidence. It's up to us as well. Trust. Outcomes will be tied to my performance. They have to believe that how they perform is connected to the results and rewards they will receive. Isn't that so true when you put the lenses of Spiritism on it? Our results will be tied to our performance. If you say, yeah, I love God, and you get out of here, go back home, and start treating everybody wrong at home, great. Again, your result will be tied to your performance. That is so true. That's the law of cause and effect. But if you really believe in that, again, believe that as best as you do, the results are going to be better. And this is motivation, pure motivation. Satisfaction. The outcomes will be satisfying to me. Wish the result that the world can offer. Meaning that don't wish something that you know that is not touchable, tangible, or is something that really can be the outcome of that situation. Because you're trying to fool yourself, in the end you're going to be disappointed. Be realistic, but understand that you are doing something because of satisfaction. I've been doing a seminar in my work where I ask one question about a Gallup research called the 5 Elements of Well-Being. And the first one is about work well-being. It's like the first question that they ask is like, do you love what you do every day? Ooh, strong question, right? Hard one, sometimes heavy. But if you don't, guess what? Change your way of seeing things or analyze the way that you think things at work, at home, so far and so on. Because you will find many reasons to love your work, to love your home, to love your parents, to love your neighbor, to love your mother-in-law. I know sometimes it's really hard, but yeah, you can love everybody just by finding the right way of looking at it. At work, men can meet many of their basic needs. What do I have? What do I want? What can I achieve? So at work, you can, try to fulfill those material things. I need to have money to raise my family. I need to have stability, to know that everything's good in my life. I need to do this, to do that. Okay. We can do that at work. So this is a great reason for us to love what we're doing. Otherwise, think about, there is so many other things. The other day I talked last week about this. It's a movie that George Clooney plays the lawyer, plays the guy from HR that's going to fire everybody. Okay? So the speech, it's amazing. When he sat with somebody and look and say, well, unfortunately I'm here with a not very good task of telling you that tomorrow you will not going to be here. And the guy showed the picture of the 2 daughters. And they say, what should I tell them? And they say, well, do you love your daughters? Yes, I guess I do. Said, do they love you? And he said, I guess they do. I said, I don't think they do. And say, wow, you're supposed to cheer me up. What you doing here? You're firing me and putting me down? Great way. What a way to do it. Said, no. You are going back home to cook to your child, to cook to your children. Right? Cook? What? Well, when you were young, you went to a culinary school. You had great grades. As a matter of fact, you've been to the Cordon Bleu. And then he popped the greatest question of all. How much did this company pay you to give up your dreams? See what he did? He just flipped. You are not the executive. You were never tailored to be the executive. You were tailored to be what you love, which is a cook. And now you have the option of doing that. Take the option. Take the opportunity. Don't be stuck in like, oh, I got fired. Well, somebody sometimes got fired can be the best thing that can happen to us. Just because we can pursue a different outcome. And sometimes that's all we need. But we need to have the focus. We need to understand what is good behind what seems to be really bad. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I guess it's recorded down there because a friend of us last week, Pamela, said the name. I couldn't grasp it, but I have the video. Huh?
Up in there.
Up in there. Again, it's recorded twice. Maybe this time I'll remember.
Repetition.
Yeah. For spiritual evolution, we must rely on the belief that when we reason about life, it produces the inner strength to overcome obstacles. But when we reason about life, when we analyze, normally we just react. We don't proact. We're not proactive about life. We let the things hit us and then we respond. What Spiritism does is to give you tools to be proactive, to understand life, to understand what comes in front of you, and play a different game, and play a different way to understand, and better yourself just because you're reasoning about something instead of just reacting about something. The Spiritist doctrine provides the philosophical basis and proposes the possible scenario in a happy world. The certainty that spiritual evolution is inevitable, and the evolutionary trajectory depends on our willingness. And that's, again, falls back to us. If you don't will, or if you do use your free will for something that is not to get better, don't we all know what is to get better in our lives? The concept can be broader, can be gigantic, but we know what is to be good. We always have, all of us have a understanding of what is to be good. And we all have an understanding of what is to be bad. And our little Jiminy Cricket jumps in our pillow every night when we lay down to say, well, you did great today, or, ooh, today was not that great, huh? What can you do to better yourself tomorrow? Sometimes we choose to listen, sometimes we choose to shoo him away. The second option doesn't work very well because all of a sudden we start to get disappointed with ourselves and try to pretend we are somebody else, and that's where our ego, that's where the masks come from, and we're not going there. But you got the picture. So understand that we are here to do better, to get better, and to leave this incarnation with the sense that we did something to accomplish, to be a better person. As a matter of fact, if you want to know what is wrong with you, just try to use your perception. Who has kids around here? Notice when you are really mad with them. And your madness is not supported by facts. Normally you are so mad because they are presenting a behavior that you have, you don't assume for yourself, and makes you mad. And all of a sudden, you are the judge in front of them, and you are like saying some things or getting feelings that say, why am I so mad? He or she just did this little thing, but she or he is mimicking you, and it's hard to see a mirror in front of you. That's what they call the shadow effect in psychology. So whatever you don't like in people, but you really don't like, is probably the thing that you have inside yourself that you need to better. That's another thing. There's another motivation. There's another way to understand where can I correct, where can I do better, where can I make people feel better about myself and me as well. Mentality is the intellectual capacity to set the set of beliefs, customs, habits, and psychic dispositions of individual. So everything comes from our brain. We fabric and we made information out of nothing. We create information out of nothing. Whoever spent too much time inside the house doing absolutely nothing, understand what I'm saying. Because all of a sudden, that noise became a raccoon, or a thief, or something else, and probably it's just a malfunction of your fridge. But because you took too much time to understand, and your brain has to give a meaning to that, the meaning that you give is what your brain believes. So understand the belief, understand how your thought process works. Our mindset attracts everything that radiates consciously or unconsciously. Certain concepts that we hold attract prosperity and make us feel very well, and many disconnects us from progress and spiritual reality. Let's translate this real quick to Spiritism. We are made of atoms, right? Any one of us don't know that? We are made of atoms. Atoms are polarized by energy, right? Okay, I'm really mad with you, right there. I'm really sending bad energy to you. What are you gonna give me back when you realize that? Bad energy connects me to better spirits or lower spirits?
Lower spirit.
Bingo! Bingo! It's that simple. But I wish it was that simple when the feeling hit us. Because then you can repurpose the feeling and say, wow, I don't want to connect with bad spirits. So I'm not going to get to that point to feel that all this rage. But that doesn't work this way. What works is that, yay. Think about it. There is a great commercial from Twix. They used to say, need a moment? And you put a Twix in your mouth and you don't respond. As I have this great airbag here, I don't put a Twix. I drink water. So whatever you want, just don't respond right off the bat. Take your time and then respond. Because this little time that you take is the time for reasoning. And when you reason about something, what happens is you can use everything that you know. If you proact instead of react. We believe in rewards and punishments, but everything that is happening in your life is the product of your beliefs and thoughts that materialize. It is not because of punishments or rewards, but a reaction triggered by your mental actions. Again, your mental actions are energy that reaches people and comes back to you. So, people used to say, well, this is my bad karma. That happens to me all the time because I have a bad karma. As a matter of fact, I never heard people use the word karma in a positive way. Never, ever heard. Maybe because I probably didn't get to places of meditation and stuff. There they're going to use it. But in the normal, day-to-day, never. But certain ideas about karma do not match the consistency and logic of reincarnation, leading you to misinterpretations and unreal about the divine laws. The thing is, karma in Sanskrit simply means action. Karma is the action. The action can be good or can be bad. Your actions or your karmas are positive or negative in accordance in what you did and according to your convictions and personal values. So it's not your karma. Let's assume we just need to blame somebody else besides us. So we try to blame the neighbor, didn't work. We're trying to blame the kid, it didn't work. Trying to blame spouse, never work. We're trying to blame the mother-in-law, never work. We're trying to blame God, we don't go there, never work. So let's blame the karma. It's my karma, I don't have luck. No, you do. But if you keep telling this to yourself, you're going to make your brain to believe that, and you're going to create a mantra, a negative mantra, that's going to polarize you all the time in a negative way. Don't do that. Again, reason about things, and it's going to be a way easier to overcome these situations. God does not judge the personal acts, but create a perfect laws that drive the universe. So, if the laws are perfect, and not everything is going good in our lives, what is imperfect? God? Karma? Sun? Moon? Earth? Water? Our actions. Our actions are not that perfect. And when we realize that, and we recognize that, that's the way to start changing. Because without realizing, without assuming that we do something wrong, how can you change? There's no way to do it. When someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take the place of honor, for a person more distinguished than you may have been invited. Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 7-5. This is Matthew as well. What is your place at the table? Which table are they talking about? What is your position in the universe of yourself? Is the place that you are sitting really yours? Are you assuming fully responsibility and fully potential of yourself? Or are you still playing the game that, well, I learned to create this beautiful Peter that I fell in love with, which is not me. It's just my mask or my ego. And I don't want to, I'm so attached to him that every time I go out, he needs to come with me. I need to use him. Because everybody loves this Peter. And I'm afraid if I show the real Peter here, people are not going to love me. And then, what should I do? Why should I do if nobody loves me? Well, guess what? First of all, love yourself. Because nobody will love you if you don't love yourself. First, understand and learn to fall in love with yourself. Your real self. The one that is sitting in the right chair at the table. The one that is assuming the right space in the universe. Not easy, but we have this beautiful doctrine called Spiritism to help us to understand. Have you heard the voice of the soul, or are your ears wide open to the opinions and concepts of others? The thing is, because we have this crave, this need of belonging, this need of being loved, of being accepted, sometimes we do things that we don't want to do, but just because we want to belong. Think about the fraternities here in the U.S. to be accepted in a fraternity, in college, or universities, people do a lot of things that are really wrong. And they know they're wrong, but they want to be accepted. They want to be with them. They want to wear the shirts. They want to have the sense of belonging to something. And because of that, you do something else that is not related to yourself. And that's just a little example of how we just got lost around life and just use our free will in a way that compromise our acts, compromise our karma. That way you can say karma, because compromise our actions. Many times we deduce and capture the reality to a certain point and then completed the reminder the way we want it, creating illusions and stressful expectations that divert us from our goals. How many times whoever thought about being a tennis player, famous singer, ballet dancer, actor, actress, and maybe we really had what it takes. But we heard the voice of wisdom. Son, don't do that. Seen that many times, never worked. Well, maybe I'm the exception. Maybe I'm not. I'm going to take in consideration your words of wisdom, and if something goes wrong, I'm going to always have a plan B in my pocket. That way I can use it. But I'm not going to give up my goal until I know that I was able or not to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be a frustrated person. And I don't think we are frustrated. I just think we just sometimes don't fulfill our will or our capacity just because we heard so much people saying something. That's the time to understand what you want, what is your purpose, what is your mission, what are your goals, and filter everything by these lenses, not by somebody else's lenses. In order to find your place, it is necessary to have a lucid simplicity, and stripping of your delusions and fantasies will find you the true humility. Lucid simplicity is that's who I am, that's what I want. Crazy simplicity, it's a song, a Brazilian song called Gabriela, that say, I was born like this, I was raised like this, I always live like this, I will always be like this. Well, we are not a tree. We can move. We can change. So don't buy this. This is not us. We are capable of changing, and that's what we need to do. You ask me if it's listed for a man to lessen his own probation. This is equal to other questions such as, is it listed for a drowning man to save himself? Should he take a thorn from his hands? Should he? Guys, it's easy. Lucid simplicity. Yes or no? Yes or no? Of course yes. Why not? It's in your power to do it. Why not? You want to drown? You want to die? You want to lose your incarnation just because somebody told you that you don't deserve to life? We suffer because we have not learned to love. Although Jesus invalidated the law such as crime, such as punishment, it is still prevailed for all human beings who have not found love. Beliefs are not just beliefs, but also guiding principles of faith and ideas which give us direction in life. They are true forces that may limit or expand the creation of God, of good in our lives. Understand your beliefs. Understand what works and what doesn't. Keep the ones that work. Simple to say, hard to do, but possible. Switch to love as a method of growth. reshape your idea and restructure the old values. Let go of the position of victims, martyrs or poor people, facilitating the turning with the subtle currents of lovable and noble spirits who have risen in the scale of the universe. We can subtle our karmic energies by love or wear them painfully if we continue to reaffirm our beliefs of a punitive past. Strengthen the thorn or not to remove, it is your choice. Let us remember, however, that ideas rooted and taken seriously by us tend to motivate us to our own achievements. Otherwise, we're going to keep doing this over and over and over. And guess what? Advil doesn't cure that pain, unfortunately. As strong as it is, it doesn't cure.
That many times.
Not that many. And we've been doing it for a lot of times. So guys, just to finalize, the number one reason why people give up so fast is because they tend to look how far they still have to go instead of how far they have gotten. Analyze where you are, how far you got here, not how many miles do I still have to run. As Emmanuel used to say, though nobody can go back and make a new beginning, anyone can start over and make a new ending. Anybody. This is Chico Xavier channeling Emmanuel. And one more. If you want to know what's happening to you right now, look what you did in the past. If you want to know what's going to happen to you in the future, look at what you're doing right now. Open your heart, or a cardiac surgeon will do that for you. Thank you very much.